Prakash, it's not audible. I don't know whether it's only for me.
Good evening and a warm welcome to all. Welcome to the Leaders Connect, an online leadership community where leaders create more leaders, a CSR initiative by Bija Training and organized by the Mask Leadership. I'm Prabhakaran. I work for My Big Break. Leaders Connect is started with the specific objective of creating 1,000 plus leaders where all the working professionals and business people share their real-time challenges in leading self or leading others or in leading their businesses. Through our website, themaskleadership.com, we read through we read through all the challenges, filter them, and every week on Wednesday, we invite a top management leader from the corporate world and look forward to solutions for our real-time challenges on leadership. That's our way of leaders creating more leaders. Currently, all are on mute, and we will be giving you the opportunity to speak to our guest, Mr. Gauri Shanbagaraman, Head of HR Manufacturing, Amway India. And before going further, let me also share that we are currently live on Facebook, and this episode, LC57, is being recorded. For the visitors who are joining for the first time, you may also click on the WhatsApp, Facebook, and LinkedIn links on the chatbot to get updates on a weekly basis and join our mission, creating more leaders. So, are we ready? Are we ready to interact with our honorable guest, Mr. Gauri Shanbagaraman, on transformational leadership? Then please type yes in the chat box if we are ready. Yes, 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 yes. Wonderful. Thank you. Before introducing the guest, let me also take this privilege to introduce our founder of the Leaders Connect, Mr. Prakash Sharma, who will lead the interaction with our guest, along with our panel discussion leader, Mr. David Selvaraj. Hi, Prakash.
Oh, hi, thank you very much, Prabhakaran, for the quick introduction. And welcome all the leaders, welcome our guest, Mr. Gauri Shanbagaraman, and all the visitors who have joined us for the first time today. We welcome you all to the Leaders Connect, and it's an awesome evening today. So I'd like to take the privilege of inviting or sharing a quick experience sharing and personal introduction about our guest, Mr. Gauri Shanbagaraman. So that then is where we will start our episode on the specific topic, transformational leadership. So let me quickly give a quick background about Gauri Shanbagaraman here. He has almost been 17 plus years of experience in the industry and is married to Ms. Shanmuga Lakshmi, who is a supply chain analyst and in NCR Corporation. And he has two daughters, right? Uma Uttara and Raghavi, aged 11 and 6. And Mr. Gauri Shanbagaraman's hobbies are playing tennis and writing travelogue and reading non-fiction. Wow, wonderful, sir. Thanks very much for doing, sir. And he is from Madurai for us here today. So let me also give you a little bit more information about his professional experience, through which we also understand him more. And then is where I would also invite our panel discussion leader, Mr. David Selvaraj, also after the professional experience. So as I told us, more than 17 plus years of experience from different industries. Mr. Gauri Shanbaragaraman has completed his PGDBM from TFI Management Institute and has also completed a management program in public policy from ISB Hyderabad. He's helped various organizations right from Business Line, then he was from Vedanta Resources, then Konkala Corporate Mines, then Ashok Leyland, and now he is currently heading the HR for the manufacturing at Amway India at Madurai. For all the leaders and the visitors here, Amway is the world's #1 direct selling company with a presence in over 100 countries and territories. So I would request all the leaders and members to type clap in the chat box or welcome Mr. Gauri Shanbaragaraman on the chat box. And Mr. Gauri Shanbaragaraman is here for us on our specific leadership episode, which is Leaders Connect, on the specific particular topic, transformational leadership. So we welcome Mr. Gauri, sir.
Thank you, Prakash, and thanks the Mask Leadership community.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. It's been really an honor. Thanks for joining our community on Leaders Connect. And we also have shared Mr. Gauri Shanbaragaraman's LinkedIn link on the chat box, which is already there. Feel free to get connected with him so that you'll also be interacting with him. And let me quickly share how do we all know each other. In fact, me and Mr. Gauri Shanbaragaraman had known each other in terms with Hinduja Foundries. Am I right, sir?
Yeah.
It was a very long journey. That's when we got to know each other, and that's how our journey started. So thanks very much for joining us here. And so members of this specific topic, transformational leadership. So let me set a context before we go in, and then is where I would invite Mr. David and then Mr. Gauri also to go ahead and discuss about these aspects. So transformational leadership, yes, all are leaders here, but in reality, we also face a lot of challenges in terms of every individual is a leader, right? So, but every individual, if you have to really convert them as a leader, that means best practices to be doing and a lot of other aspects, we call them so-called as leader. So if we have to convert an individual to so-called a leader, there are a lot of challenges. And what are those challenges? And how do we overcome that? And how do we transform such individuals to become great leaders? And that's what, in fact, we are discussing today. But that is where I would also invite our panel discussion leader, Mr. David Selvaraj, who is from Benicia Facility Management Services, who is the partner there, and who would like to ask on behalf of all our members certain key questions to make it more interactive to our guest, Mr. Gauri Shanbaragaraman. So welcome, Mr. David Selvaraj.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, David, you're audible.
I have logged in through my mobile. Fine.
That's fine.
Transformational leadership is a very interesting subject, and we have the right person in our midst this evening. Thank you, Mr. Gauri, for being with us, and we are glad to have you over.
Thank you, sir.
Now, yes, sir. Before we start our discussion interactions, I have a couple of questions. With your permission, I'd like to ask them, sir.
Sure. You can call me as Gauri. That's fine.
Okay, great.
I'm not that old. So.
If everyone thinks I'm old because of my gray hair. Mr. Gauri, what are the qualities a leader must possess while transforming people into great leaders? I mean, as leaders, we all want to encourage others to become leaders, right? People who report to us are team members, are department people. So what do you think the qualities a leader must possess to transform people into great leaders?
Sure. Yeah, before we answer that, first of all, thanks, Mr. Prabhakaran, for this, the nice intro. I was a bit embarrassed when you said I'm an honorable chief guest, so I'm just like one among you. So as Prakash was telling, we're all leaders and truly believe in that. There's an anonymous quote, as they say, we all have a story to tell. I think this is more of, I see it as more of a knowledge sharing platform. I'm sure today I've been invited, tomorrow anyone from this team will be here. So I see it as a two-way learning process, this next 30 minutes. I recollect, I remember our dean when I was in my PG, doing my PGDM, he always said that management is about ands, A and D, and it's not about or. Meaning, I mean, he used to especially tell us, especially with so many engineers getting into B school. So he said, as engineers, your mind is trying to look for the right solution, right? I mean, you need to unlearn that trait. Now, there could be multiple things that will work. So help to broaden your perspectives. So I believe, I do have a fairly reasonable perspective based on my work ex. I work now in 4 industries. At 8 different locations, and more interestingly, I worked under 16 bosses in 16 years. So maybe I think the longest I have worked under him, somebody was 14 months. So that's a jokingly I tell, either I move or they move. So so that's how it has been. So I am trying to bring all those experiences and I will share with you, and we can learn from each other. Good. So with that sort of a brief note, let me try to answer your question. So where you're talking about sorry,
transforming people into great leaders.
Yeah. So I'm going to answer this based on my experiences from leaders with whom I have closely worked, business leaders, not necessarily HR leaders, both within my team and what I have seen happen in my other teams. I think the number one thing is, how do we make people working around us to be comfortable working with us? As we move from a pretty hierarchical setup to a more informal setup. It's not that I am against hierarchy. Hierarchy has its own plus. With the change in Gen Z to Gen Z, I think what is more important is how do we make people feel comfortable, and why it is required is that is where exchange of ideas happen. I mean, today we're talking about inclusivity. Of course, inclusivity has a very broader context, but even within a homogeneous group, if you're not going to make your team members comfortable, I mean, it could be your subordinates, if I can use that word, then naturally they're not going to sort of share things, and that becomes a very big impediment to the way you will perform or your team will perform. The second could be, like, we all need to be, it's a very cliche term, being a great listener. I think it's related to making, when you're a good listener, you make others feel comfortable working with you. That has a lot of value attached to it. Whether you're open to different perspectives. Again, I'm saying it's not just hearing, but listening to people. The next is trust. By trust, what do I mean? Not to try to micromanage people. If you know somebody is right for the job, then we should give them the space and we should trust them. Let me also just give a small example. Here I was, during my stint in Africa, like, working with my CEO, that's we're completing the performance appraisal process for the year, and then we need to send that deck to our head office in Bombay. Maybe I was 5 years into the role. Into the role, maybe I was 3-4 months. I had also moved in new to that location, so I just said him, so we have done, and should we send that? So he said, yes, just go ahead and send that. Then I said, don't you want to, maybe scrutinize it once? I mean, is it that's fine? No, that's not the way we work. We need to keep moving on. It was a bit strange, even sometimes, even with the HR heads with whom I worked, we always do a multiple, the PMS is multiple rounds of checks. It goes. So it was a bit of surprise for me. But then, I mean, when I look back, a few months down the line on that incident, what it taught me is, I'm sure he didn't have a blind faith on me, but then he had a little amount of trust, in the sense, like, you have been in the system for some time, you have done this job 3-4 years. So which means I need to give him that space. There's no point, even if I have to really check an Excel sheet which you have prepared, then if he has to do that, then I'm not the right guy in that role. So that was the biggest learning. It did for me in the sense, the kind of boost it gives to your self-confidence that your leader is trusting you, that will make you do wonders. So I mean, trust is an easier thing said, but we need to practice it day in and day out. That has I don't know, delta, huge multiplier effect on the delivery of your team. The other thing I would say is how do we challenge the team? I mean, helping move. One is moving out of the comfort zone. Another is also to challenging them to aim higher. Because this comfort zone, not necessarily it comes when somebody spends maybe 5 years in a role or 10 years in a job. It's not like that. People easily get into a comfort zone. Even it could be the colleagues with whom they'll work with, or the role which they'll handle. So that also makes them to aim lesser. I mean, again, I've got an example. We had a new CEO in my very earliest roles. He came, and then he called one of the department meetings. They're always sort of meeting the business plan targets because the market was so conducive. They were continuously meeting the targets. Then he said, we used to talk about cost of production. Then he said, like, can we look at a negative COP? I mean, nobody in the room had ever heard about a negative. How can cost of production be negative? I mean, is it like you don't spend anything, still you produce? So then he went and explained, no, there are a lot of byproducts, comes out of the process. So why don't you find more markets to sell that? So you don't spend additional cost to, because the byproduct is part of the process. So that gets adjusted against your cost of production. So this is like, and with whom I know him for the last 15, 16 years. So multiple examples I can quote. So, your ability to pick the developmental areas of each individual and push them to work towards that. I think that's the big skill. I think maybe we'll keep learning that skill as we work. But we should definitely push our teams to move out of the comfort zone and aim really higher. The other point I would say is talking about how do we, as leaders, how do we pierce through the hierarchy? I mean, the first point is talked about hierarchy. So hierarchy is needed for organizations to run. But when a certain issue happens, where you see there's something doesn't move for a bit of time, how do we are able to slice through the hierarchy and then reach out? Again, it again boils down to the very first point we saw, that are we making people comfortable? When you slice through the hierarchy, are people comfortable listening to you? Are people, and are you listening to them? Because it's very difficult. Like, you are the CHRO or you are the plant head. How many times you will get in the shop floor and listen to them in their actual sense? I would say it's a very contentious trait, in the sense some style of leadership believe, no, I mean, I will make my direct clients accountable. It's their responsibility to get, their team accountable. As another way of looking at it is like your ability to slice through the hierarchy and then go and resolve issues. So as I said, there's no one right way of doing it. I mean, that's up to the individual style.
True.
The last point, I mean, I have taken notes. The last point I would say is it should always have the back of our team. I think that is something. There are multiple examples, anecdotes from Abdul Kalam to Vikram Sarabhai. There's so many anecdotes are there, but even in our own career, many times it has happened. So it's always important that we have the backs of our team. That makes, even ordinary people do extraordinary things. These are some of the learnings from my experience, which I thought I will share to the team for your question, Mr. David.
Thank you so much. Actually, wonderfully brought out, making people comfortable, being a great listener and trust, and slicing through the hierarchy and backing up your team. Really wonderfully brought out, and I'm sure you're doing a success transfer for all your experiences in the current position. That's wonderful. Very good, very good. Now, the second question is, we are all aware that a leader must be able to identify other person's potential. Now, the challenge is, how do we identify the other person's potential?
There are so many consultants available, so put them through a psychometric tool. So, yeah, I mean, that's the easier thing to do. Maybe let me start off from one of the point I mentioned in your previous answer to your previous question is like giving people new challenges. Could be same role. I mean, even in my current role, sometimes it really beats me how we generally think, okay, in older organizations, people who have spent 30 years, moving to comfort zones. I mean, fortunately, I've been thankful, God willing. So I've worked in organizations like the current one. The plant is only 6-year-old, and where I started my first job, or when I was in Africa, I mean, those are 100-year-old plants. So sometimes it's so amazing that even young plants, young people move into comfort zone so quickly. So how do we sort of, I think the first thing is to, again, give them new challenges either in the current role, help them see a larger perspective. People don't, I mean, social media, so many things are there, but I'm not sure how much people are also connected within the fraternity. Then they start, challenging each other's role. Many a times you see even smaller organizations do some fantastic job, which large organizations are not even thinking. So I think we all need to take that hat that I'm such and such resignation working for such and such company. I think just take that away. Again, connect with people. That itself will help us aspire higher. Once you start doing it, then we know maybe where is that we are capable of. A very traditional way to put it is job rotation. It's been around for ages. It's important in all function. People move periodically to various verticals. And here I find one challenge with, even when I look back at my own career, maybe I should have done better, is like we need to split two things. One is the flair which an individual has. There's a natural liking towards something. Other is what he or she should acquire as they grow in their career ladder. Somewhere, I mean, either the individual is also sometimes hesitant, sometimes our manager is maybe a bit selfish to say, okay, let him do that because he's the best guy to do that job. And three, organizations also could be sometimes short-sighted. So I think we should take charge of our career. I know, I mean, most of here are experienced people. Maybe I should be telling this to some youngsters passing out of college. What do I mean is like when I started my career, people said, no, MBA guys, they won't go to the shop floor. They won't do IR. People are talking about HR. You cannot make them, check the PF receipts or ESA receipts. That's the job they won't do. That's the stereotyping we have.
I believe there is a...
Sorry? Hello?
We can hear you.
Yeah. No, somebody was telling something. Okay, if I can continue.
Please do.
Yeah. So, so we need to let individuals know these are the skills they need to acquire as they move up. So sometimes the individual might also believe that this is not what they may be good at. So that's the system they have. So we need to push them out, make them see their career in a 20-year perspective. Then they will sort of, you never know, they might do a fantastic job there. Else it's very easily we will get bucketed. In HR as a lingo, HR guys and IR guys become two separate silos very, early in the career. Maybe 10 years down the line, you already have a clear demarcation. I mean, it could be applicable. I mean, in finance, if I say taxation guys become specialists so early in the life that people into taxation, they rarely become CFOs. Only the business controllers get into become CFOs. Somewhere organization also needs to look at it, have a great overall plan and then move people. So that will also help them bring out their potential. Ultimately, onus is on individual leaders. I use the word selfish. Selfish could sound so crude. but I believe that's real. Managers need to let people grow, even if that's a bit of inconvenience to them, because they feel, no way, I should train somebody else again, do the job, but let this guy continue here. And just do it 3-4 years down the line, and then the guy gets branded into the role. So I think that's a pitfall we sort of need to avoid. And as I said, maybe we should, obviously, after doing all this, we can still take the help of the psychometric tools available to identify the potential of employees.
Thank you. Thank you so much, actually. So wonderfully brought out very practical and realistic solutions and great insights. Thank you. Now I come to the final question, please. And we would like to have your views on your journey so far towards transforming people into great leaders. Any real-time examples? Of course, you did give a lot of examples in your career so far. Anything else you'd like to share with us, please?
Yeah, once again, quoting Prakash, I said everybody is a leader. So people with whom I have worked or I have groomed, they're still evolving the leaders. So there are many, like, when Prakash spoke to me about this session, so while I was jotting down my thoughts, the first person that came to mind is part of my team. She was, like Prakash mentioned, Hinduja Foundry. So after so much struggle, we brought in the first female employee to the company, and that too in HR. So you can imagine the kind of looks and resistance that could have been. But I told her, it's a clean slate. You look at it in positive, it's a clean slate. Nobody has been in this role before. No women has been there. So whatever you do, it will become a history. So we will completely, give you the sort of the freedom to work. And fortunately, we worked on a lot of developmental areas, so wherein it's become less controversial. Especially training is always a less controversial subject in HR. So the only thing you need to do is you're not going to sit in the desk. You're going to be in the shop floor. Change will come. So I think today when I look back, she's moved on, got into a good role with the leading MNC. I also moved, as I said, and I keep moving. So I also moved, but then I worked for 4-5 months. So, but then I have been following her with the kind of work she did during my entire stint in Leyland. So it was purely transformational. So moved from L&D to a bit of even CSR, hiring, the kind of growth she had. Whatever I said in it sort of, we had her back and then pushed her to do new things, and these things kept working out. That was the first thing that came to my mind. Also, in that context, is like, are we giving opportunities? Again, it might vary based on the culture of the organization. First, maybe an entrepreneur-driven company, it's natural, where you can meet the MD or we can meet the chairman. Maybe in some traditional companies, it's not the case. So it's important we give them the right platform without any hesitation. Again, it boils down to how managers are feeling comfortable, not to feel insecure. Because if somebody is better than you, they will anyhow outgrow you. If not under you, under somebody else, they'll outgrow you. So that's anyhow going to happen. So that was one example like strike. The other thing also, in my stint in Africa, is like there was this gentleman, we both were involved in a project together. Sort of, I was the business lead and he was sort of a tech lead, but then the project is to combine a little bit. It's a large unionized setup, multiple unions. So it's a very difficult project. But into the few weeks into the project, I realized that if we present this as a HR project, an IT project, we are obviously going to fail. The success is we work together and present one solution to the union, B to the management. So we just broke the silos. 12 months later, that gentleman, he was more HR guy than an IT guy. I also picked a lot of IT things, I should say. I mean, I'm basically a computer engineer, but then that is the first time I got an opportunity to work on IT. So I also picked up a lot of IT stuff. Because at the end of the day, when such kind of huge change management projects and a very complex setup happens, like people are waiting for you to make the first mistake or keep making the first mistake, I would say. So it's important we present as one team, and there is all of us know what each other is doing. So it was a pleasant surprise how somebody could easily move into learn so quickly about a related work. I think these two examples stand out in my team, I would say, not in my career, but in my career with what we have worked with my team.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gauri. They were great examples, and I'm sure they'll all keep us thinking, and we are going through a great learning curve, and it helps us a lot in our future growth in the corporate career. Thank you so much. Now over to Mr. Prakash Sharma.
Okay, thank you very much, David, for asking those questions on behalf of our community on those specific challenges, transformational leadership. And just we also have the chat box a question from Rajiv is what is transformational leadership? Rajiv, thanks for the question. That's where I was setting the context at the starting, that if you have to transform normal people into great leaders, a lot of challenges which comes. And what are those challenges and how do we overcome those in creating people as, or transforming people as great leaders? For that, what activities have we done? That's what those are challenges, and those are the questions was actually framed. In fact, was actually answered by our guest, Mr. Gauri Shanmugaraman. Thanks very much, Mr. Gauri Shanmugaraman. That was an awesome experience sharing which you have done, which has given more and more deeper insights. First initiated with certain qualities, and then moved on about how do we identify the other person's potential. That itself is one of the biggest challenge. Honestly speaking, today leaders are facing that. How do I really identify the other person's potential? I mean, there are a lot of challenges still coming, and I may identify, but still, is it really the worth it? Have I identified it correctly? Just to know many more. So good. Thanks very much for sharing those points. So, Mr. Gauri, now we'll just take another 2 to 3 minutes. We'll have a small quiz and asking those questions to our members here about what all you have discussed or what all you have spoken. And then is where we come back again to you. We'll have an open question. All right. So thanks very much, Gauri. So members and visitors, now is the quiz time. So after the quiz is where we will also be having an open question. So visitors who are here for the first time, if you wish to ask any questions to Mr. Gauri Shanmugaraman, there are 2 ways of asking. One, either you can type in the chat box, or 2, you can unmute you. If you have to unmute yourself, raise your hand, and we will unmute yourself and you can ask the question. So before doing all that, let's have a quick quiz question. For conducting the quiz, I request Mr. Rangarajan to be a part of our discussion here. And Rangarajan is he's taking up the production in the Nash Industries. And thanks very much, Rangarajan, for joining us. And here, over to you for asking a quiz question on the specific topics of what Mr. Gauri spoke about his experiences.
Yeah.
Over to you, Rangarajan.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. It was a very good session, Gauri sir. Everyone be ready, faster fingers first. So my question is, what is the key qualities to transform the people into the great leader? The sir has given 5 key qualities which is required to transform the people. Faster finger first. We are expecting the answers.
So talking about any 3 you're asking, is it?
Yeah, any 3 is okay.
Any 3 as what are the qualities or what Mr.
Prabhakaran is
Gauri
there.
Okay, Prabhakaran is listening, trust and listening, inclusivity. Okay, answers are coming up, so please do check.
Yeah, I'm checking. Trust and listening is correct. If it is one more Prabhakaran, he may win for this game.
Okay, one is Sharda Khandwal has written. Khandwal has written trust, listening skills, and flattened hierarchy.
Hierarchy. Yeah, Umesh is given inclusivity, listener, and trust, and he tell backing up the team. And this week winner will be Umesh Shetty.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thanks very much, Rangarajan, for sharing those aspects. Wonderful. So, well, congratulations, Umesh, for being a winner for the Mask Leadership 360-degree assessment, which is what I'm going to give it to you as complimentary. And people, all the members can type in congratulations, Umesh. So wonderful, Umesh, for giving the right answer. That's been excellent. And we'll
Congrats,
be there.
Umesh, sir.
Yes. Thanks, Rangarajan. And let us also share the last week's quiz winner. So that will also add value. So Nisha, I would request you to share the last week's quiz winner and last week's author also we had, who had given her book as complimentary. Okay, last week's quiz winner was Mr. Prabhakaran. And the book he received was Love You from the author Miss Aruna, right? So
Yes.
yeah. Thanks. Okay. Thank you very much, Nisha, for sharing it. Oh my God, you're sharing a different screen, Nisha. It has gone to love stories now, but that's okay. So kindly stop sharing, Nisha. That will help us. All right, so proceed further. Good.
Good.
Okay, thanks very much. So, congratulations, Prabhakaran. Sorry, congratulations, Umesh, once again for being getting this Mask Leadership 360-degree assessment as complimentary. So let's move ahead. Now is the time for all the guests or all the visitors who are here to ask any open questions to our guest, Mr. Gauri Shanbagaraman. So as I said, two ways of asking. Either one, raise your hand and we give you an option to unmute yourself, or type your question in the chat box and we take up your question on your behalf and we ask it to Mr. Gauri Shanbagaraman. So quick, we're looking forward for more questions. And in the meantime, I have one more question also, Mr. Gauri. So
Yes.
people are as they are going to ask. So Mr. Gauri, yes, as a part of this transformational leadership, we are looking forward of transforming normal people into great leaders. One of the aspects is becoming very important, so-called important, most people is calling and saying that we as leaders also need to be emotionally intelligent. That's what people say, that we need to be emotionally intelligent, because not that all the people who want to transform normal people as great leaders, they'll be able to understand us quickly and they'll be able to grasp it faster. So how do you relate this emotional intelligence if we have to really transform people, and what context do you think emotional intelligence is required?
Yeah, that's a difficult question. So let me try to answer. Like, okay, so from IQ, we said EQ.
Yes,
Now
no,
there is
yes,
DQ, digital quotient, SQ, social quotient. You know, like even as Amway as a business, there's a lot of focus on social commerce.
Correct.
Two words from e-commerce, social commerce. Everything is required for us to be successful. The EQ, to me, the EQ plays a key role in the sense, like at any point of time, you will at least have maybe 2 generations of people, I mean, in your team. People come with different backgrounds. Their aspirations could be different. The challenge is, how do we show a path to each and every one of them? It's not necessarily, you don't want everybody. Aspirations can also, need not be the same. It's not that everybody wants to be the HOD or everybody wants to be a CHRO or a CEO. So having said that, there could be somebody doing the job well. So I think that's where organizations also find it difficult. Performance potential. So you want everybody to grow up. Then somebody feels, I am happy, content with that role. Then why are you penalizing me for that type? So our ability to show a meaningful progression to every member of the team is the crux. If you're able to crack that as a leader, I feel it's off the job done.
Wow. So that's the ability to crack you're talking about. Wonderfully, awesomely shared. Definitely, yes. And because that's the thin layer, in fact, which you're talking about, and we need to crack it. Super. So we have the other two people also. One has raised the hand, is Mr. Giri has raised the hand, and one question is on the chat box as well. And or two questions are on the chat box as well. So first, people, we will just maybe Mr. Giri is there. I request him to unmute himself and then we'll turn on. So yes, Mr. Giri, over to you, and then I'll come to the next two questions on the chat box, please. Yes, Mr. Giri, quickly go ahead with your question and kindly introduce yourself, Mr. Giri, that will add value in short, as which company you're representing from.
Actually, my company name is Kanji Aquapure RO System. We are dealing with the complete water treatment, the drinking water plant project for domestic and industrial purpose.
Wonderful.
And now we have 2,000 plus happy and delightful customers.
Great. So what's your question you want to ask, Giri?
And I congratulate Mr. Senbagaraman. The name itself different, I think. And the content, you are emotionally connecting the people. Actually, most of the people can speak fluent or whatever it may be, but some of the emotional guys will connect the people very slowly, but the interaction will be more. Like that, today you are connected with sessions, and the practical session we really observed. Because we are all the small company, and I directly touch with all my technicians or whatever the position the people. Now the emotional connection they need actually, and every time, even now I have recruited HR, but the complications are more. Before when I am handling, it was less. Now the complications are more. So some. No, I am very sorry to say this, because when we get to touch with the people, most of the time I will connect them emotionally. So even though when he was on leave, I will ask them, why are you on leave? What happened to our parents? What about their background? Like that, then only I will go for asking what is the real problem. It will take nearly 5 minutes. But the people who are in the designated people asking questions directly. Now the entire thing, we can tell that 70 kids, 80 kids, now we are handling 2,000 kids. So these people are working with the neocortex brain. Already I know that the CEO brain, they know what is their conclusion, they know everything.
Correct.
So to handle these people, it's highly difficult for us. Now my question is, yes. How much the employee, how much engagement we are doing. One of the MSME class I have been observed that only 30% only we are engaging the people.
Correct.
So
maybe Mr. Giri, if you just make the question short, it will help us. So what is that question you want to ask? In short, if we can make that day adding value, Mr. Giri?
Yes, sir. That employee engagement, sir. What is how you are doing in your concern, and if you can give some insight about how to engage the employees, we can learn from you, sir. Thank you, sir.
That's a good question. So that means employee engagement definitely is one of the important factors for us to transform people into great leaders. Great. That's a great question. Yes, Gauri sir, over to you.
Yeah. I think the first thing is work is the biggest, the quality of work, the content of work is the biggest engagement factor, I would say. So it is important that you recruit right kind of people for the right work. That's the number one. The second is to take care of, especially since you're talking about MSMEs, it's important we take care of the hygiene factors. When I say hygiene factors, ensuring salaries are paid on time, ensuring social contributions are done properly, ensuring proper safety measures are taken, canteen, transport, because it is like our Maslow's hierarchy of need. I don't know, I'm talking a HR language, but it's my favorite concept. Because without taking care of the fundamentals, right work, right pay, right thing, then we cannot be talking about anything higher. It's meaningless. Like what Mahatma Gandhi said, for a poor man, food is God. Now we cannot be going and talking scriptures to him when he doesn't have food. So ensure those basics are done. Now, once that is done, what you're talking about is connect with the employees. Again, I am assuming, when I could be wrong, for this kind of setup, where if we have workers coming from local villages or local area, it is important the connect with the family is also good. Maybe you should have for Diwali, maybe you can, instead of cash bonus, you can give them some gift, which could be useful for the family. Have maybe a family day wherein your manager should have a connect with the family. I think once you do these two things, then I think engagement is a very vast topic. We can keep talking about it. Maybe I'm sure we can connect separately. Also, we can talk about the next level of things.
Good, wonderfully shared, Gauri. So the basic Maslow's hierarchy of needs itself is a part of the, and for engagement models, what we are creating for our companies, our employees, if it is following as a part of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that itself will create a much more higher engagement levels. Wonderful. Thanks so much for sharing that.
Training is in the first part. I should add training also, so that the workers feel that they are also learning something. Not only they taking home some salary, their skill is also improving. That's a bigger engagement.
True, rightly said. Yeah. So we have one more question. In fact, there are a couple of questions coming up now one by one. But let's take one came from Miss Sharda, is it? So
what is the most motivating?
Sharda's question is, what is the most motivating thing for Gen Z? That means today, if you have to transform leaders, we are calling it as Generation Zs. Those are the Generation Z. For them, what's the best motivating thing is what, and how can we transform such people? If I have understood your question correctly, Sharda, so yes, Gauri Shankar, this question.
I think the most motivating thing for them is flexibility.
That's the point. Agreed.
So they will obviously demand that. I mean, even I get worried that I am there at 7 o'clock. Obviously, my team will turn up at 7:30. I think that's part of life. There's no point in losing your peace for that. That's the reality. We need to accept that. I think things like increased salary, those things are slightly getting a lesser impact. The sense like today, if you're there as HOD, even your team member, you might have, even he or she might have a better cell phone than you. So that's totally not driving. So one is flexibility, and they're also looking for frequent change in their roles and responsibilities.
Very important.
I won't say it's a right thing. Again, there's no right or wrong in these kind of matters. We should definitely engage with them, saying that I only tell my team, so before you make every move, ensure you have taken the meat out of that role. Else there's no point in moving. Then it becomes the rolling stone gathers no mass analogy. Should not fall prey into that. But it's again a continuous thing. The level of patience is less.
Or more, they're expecting more of a dynamic roles. I mean, the roles quickly, which is giving them more challenges, and such roles is what we're expecting. Again, maybe Gen Z, it's all, mixed up. That's what I would say. There are a few people who want to stay back, and then there are a few more challenges. But like I said, Gauri sir, completely agreed. So that's how they look forward for more challenging roles or more dynamic roles. They keep looking forward to what next. Yeah, great. Thanks very much. So there's one more question which is coming up. Maybe the more questions are coming up. We'll take the last two questions. Otherwise, we'll go on continuously. Correct. And maybe the other questions of all the other participants, or maybe the members who are sharing in. Even the next week, we have a reflections episode. And those questions will also be taken during the reflections episode. And we also will have an open discussion at that point of time as well. So, we also have the next question is, what can we do? That is from Miss or Mr. Okay, no, Srishti Rathore. Okay, Srishti Rathore asks, what can we do it that people can trust us? That means if I have to be bringing in some transformation on a person, from people to make them great leaders or create them as great leaders, what should I do so that people can trust me? This is what the question is, what Srishti Rathore asks. Okay, the trust factor was the fourth point, in fact, the way you spoke. Any one more example, maybe that will add value for Srishti?
I think our integrity is critical. I would say, what do we mean by that? very simple example I can give. Maybe you give a go ahead to tuition and then it backfires. Your boss orders you and then you go back and say, I never said I asked you to do that. This is a very common thing that happens. I think that one incident is enough for the trust to be broken between you and your teammate. So that piece of integrity is very critical for the team to trust you, and the team should also believe that you are genuinely interested in their development. It's not about there could be some bosses who are abusive, some who are very easy, but all said and done, if they feel that you're doing that for their own development, people will definitely support you. They will definitely trust you. Not that I am encouraging you to be abusive. I think that era is gone. You can always be tough without being abusive. But even if you're tough, if they feel that you are genuinely helping them grow, they will be at your side.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Gauri. That was an
I'm saying
awesome answer. Integrity
True.
helps.
Consistency in action and words. Yeah, that's true. Maybe
Great. Wonderfully said, Shardha. Thanks very much for saying consistent action word. Rightly said, Gauri. The good one. So maybe I feel that these questions are fine. Other questions, I believe, yes, Rangarajan, I believe if you want to also ask a question, maybe let's keep the question aside during our networking episode so that will help us. The networking is maybe after we complete our episode for today. So for all the members and visitors who are for the first time, after we complete our episode officially, we have a networking slot where we start networking and interacting with each other. And I would request that we can still, if you have any more questions, we all are there to discuss more deeper and we interact. Or if still we have any questions more to be answered, we'll take it up in the next week in the reflections episode as well. Great. So wonderful. So thanks very much. So Gauri sir, that's been awesome episode which we had in terms of this topic called transformational leadership. And because as we are right said, we all are leaders, but there are a lot of challenges between different people, and we guiding those challenges and then creating them or transforming them, and that's one of the biggest steps. And I'm sure today what you spoke about, what are the key aspects you gave on the qualities, on the challenges, on the real-time experiences, would have helped most of the participants and members who are here for us. So wonderful members, and if you all feel that definitely does help you, type in fact great on the chat box. That will really help us. Type great on the chat box if the discussion has helped you. And with this, I would request Mr. Nellai to summarize what all we had discussed. That will be helpful for us, and then we finalize with our next episode. What are we going to do? We'll finalize with that. All right. So yes, Nellai, I would request you to quickly. I'm giving you the option to unmute yourself as well and go ahead, and we give you an option to summarize. And let me introduce Nellai. Mr. Nellai Nayagam is the quality head at Orlikon India Private Limited. He heads for Chennai and Pune. So yes, Nellai, over to you for summarizing.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, one and all. On the transformational leadership, Mr. Gauri Senbagaran sir shared his valuable points. Thank you, sir. On the quick summary points, use logic gates and not R, the multiple things to be considered, and make comfortable working who is working around with us. Yes. And the quality of leaders, the inclusivity and way we perform and team perform, and the great listening and open to a different perspective, and making trust and no micromanagement, and providing space to play in their strength, and the providing challenge to the team or moving out of their comfort zone. Aiming high is necessary to grow is important. And while growing in hierarchy, be approachable to team for their support. Challenge in current role for our team, like a periodical job rotation, freedom to work will be helpful to find their potential. On the flair or natural and what they have to acquire on the knowledge or skill is important instead of pre-conclusive or conservative approach. And managers have to let others grow. Selfish can be for the growth. And important to provide a right platform to make them secure in their work. And make a combined solution towards the deliverable as a one team. Emotional intelligence is the ability to show meaningful growth in our team. The considering a different generation, understanding their background and different aspiration within the team, and that should be must. And on employee engagement, the quality of work, recruiting the right people for the right work, and providing adequate facility on basic needs and family day or family get together, connecting more with the employees will be better employee engagement activities. For Gen X, flexibility and dynamic role change is more important than salary. The integrity is a vital, making trust in the team. Team also should believe in the right intention and the developing in the growth. The consistency should be there in the action words. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Wonderful, Nilay. That's wonderful and awesome in sharing across the quick summary, which will help us. So moving on to our managing partner of Visa Training to share the next episode is what we do and what's the purpose of our community here. So yes, Mr. Pankaj Vyas, over to you.
Good evening, everyone, and good evening, Gauri sir.
Good evening.
So happy to see you today for the first time. Okay, I have already spoken to you a couple of times, but today, we have got faces to the name, and I'm really happy to see you and hear all the good points which you have shared. And sir, rightly mentioned by you, to create better leaders, right? So the kind of trust you have talked about, because there has to be a trust, right? And the integrity is really a very important aspect, because people look up to us as a leader, right? And that is what we need to download it to the people, because that's how that will move forward. And one more important thing I feel, being a leader, there is one important aspect: empathy should also be there in a person, right? Because until the empathy is not there, you cannot own the person, right? So it's easy to earn money, but it's very difficult to earn people. So if we really need to move forward, grow forward, each one of us here in this room, we should try and earn people, earn relationship, and that is where it will help us to go the long way. So sir, thank you so much for being there and sharing all the wonderful points, and for sure that will really enlighten us and help us to take us forward. So before me sharing about the next week episode, let me quickly share again the purpose of the community for the visitors who are attending for the first time. Leaders Connect is an online leadership community where every week for a Wednesday from 6:30 to 7:15, we invite a top management leader from a reputed corporate company to share the solutions for the real-time leadership challenges, either on leading self, leading others, or leading your business, like we had Mr. Gauri sir today, and that was really helpful to us. So this Leaders Connect online leadership community does not stop in sharing the solutions alone every week, but we also have a reflections episode to track the learning and convert it to an action plan on the last Wednesday of every month, where we also network with the like-minded people, working professionals who are interested in their constant growth. So that's when we call as Leaders Creating More Leaders. If you wish to join our community, please click on the WhatsApp group link, which is on your chat box, and you will be able to join us to receive weekly updates and call us on the number shared on WhatsApp, and then we will add you in our community. For the members, do remember to write your learning and action plan on your respective login credentials shared with you, and also connect with other members to network. So now I'm happy to introduce the next week episode. We have, like Prakash shared, that every month on the last week of every month, we have the reflection session. So we have our reflections episode where we share the learning and network with our working professionals on different industry. Members who wish to be part of our panel discussion can give your names on WhatsApp group or kindly interact with Mr. Prakash Sharma. Please do click on the link on the chat box to register yourself for the next week. Thank you, Gauri sir. Thank you so much for your valuable inputs and time. I would like to thank Gauri sir for spending his valuable time and sharing his experiences. So thank you so much.
Prakash. Thank you, Pankaj. Thanks everyone for thanks Prakash for the opportunity.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. David.
Thank you, Gauri sir. That's been awesome. So we had a small thank you video for all the participants and all the members here. And after the thank you video is where we are open to network. So people feel free to stay back, all the members, so that after our thank you video, we can always network as well and go more deeper interaction of knowing each other. So Gauri sir, this is just a quick thank you video for all. Yeah.
Sure.
All right, so thank you very much, Mr. Gauri sir. That's been awesome. And
Thank you,
now
thanks.
it's time. Thank you very much, sir.
Bye.
And we'll stay in touch. And if you wish to stay back for networking, feel free, sir. Any other commitments are there? Thanks very much once again.
Sure. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir. We'll take it. So thanks very much, Pankaj. So yes, members, now is the time for our networking, as officially we have completed our episode, which is episode 057. And 57 episodes completed, and all our members